Some people don't just experience emotions, they absorb them. They don't just get sad. They feel sadness deeply, like it lives inside their chest. They don't just worry. They carry anxiety like a quiet weight. They don't just care. They care so much that it sometimes hurts. These are the people who feel a little more than most. They notice every tone of voice, every shift in mood, every unspoken tension in the room. They think deeply, feel intensely, care quietly, and sometimes they wonder, why am I like this? Why does everything affect me so much? Why can't I just be normal? Today we're going to talk about them. The people who feel too much, not to label them, not to romanticize pain, but to understand the psychology behind sensitive, deeply feeling hearts. Let's begin. Feeling deeply doesn't always mean crying or breaking down. Sometimes it looks like feeling guilty, easily thinking about things for days, worrying about hurting others, caring too much about relationships, struggling to ignore problems, being moved by music, stories, or small moments. It also means noticing when someone is upset, sensing tension even when nothing is said, caring about the energy in a room. These people are often calm on the outside, but emotionally active on the inside. Their mind and heart are constantly processing, and while others may brush things off easily, they replay moments. They think again. They feel again, not because they choose to, but because their emotional world is simply more alive. Asterisk. Psychology tells us that deep-feeling people often share three roots. 1. Temperament. Some people are simply born more sensitive. Their nervous system reacts more strongly. Their body feels emotions more deeply. This isn't weakness, it's biology. 2. Childhood environment. Kids who had to stay alert growing up often become deeply aware adults. If you grew up around criticism, conflict, unpredictable moods, emotional neglect, you learned to notice everything because noticing kept you emotionally safe. 3. Empathy and connection. Wiring. Some people are naturally empathetic. They don't just understand feelings, they feel them, even when those feelings don't belong to them. None of this is accidental. It is part of who they are. Asterisk. People who feel too much are often the ones who listen carefully, care genuinely, love sincerely, show kindness naturally, think before they speak, notice the small details others miss. They make life softer. They're often artists, caretakers, listeners, peacemakers, supportive friends, thoughtful partners. They give warmth to the people around them, and the world needs them more than it realizes. Feeling deeply is beautiful, but it isn't always easy, because when emotions are strong, so is the pain. These people may overthink conversations, worry about being misunderstood, struggle with criticism, carry other people's problems, struggle to let go, feel guilty for saying no, get emotionally drained. They often care even when others don't, and sometimes they suffer silently because they don't want to burden anyone. So they hold it in and hurt quietly. Asterisk. Overthinking is common among sensitive hearts, not because they're weak, but because their mind naturally explores every meaning, every possibility. They ask, did I say something wrong? Are they upset? Did I do enough? It comes from a deep need for safety, connection, harmony. Their brain doesn't just see events. It analyzes emotions behind them. And while this helps them understand others, it also exhausts them. Empathy is powerful. But when empathy is strong, you don't just notice pain, you feel it. Movies make you emotional. News affects you deeply. Other people's struggles stay on your mind. You care, maybe too much, and sometimes you forget yourself in the process. People who feel deeply want to avoid hurting others. So they say, "Yes, I'll help. Yes, that's fine. Yes, I understand." Even when they're tired, even when they disagree, even when it hurts. Because the thought of disappointing someone feels unbearable. So they sacrifice themselves quietly in the name of kindness, but inside they feel unseen. Strong emotions can sometimes lead to anxiety, not because something is wrong with them, but because their mind is constantly processing emotional information. So they may worry about the future, fear losing people, feel overwhelmed in crowds, need time alone to recharge. Their nervous system needs more rest than most people realize. Deep feelers don't do casual. When they care fully. When they love sincerely. They remember details. They give effort. They feel loyalty strongly. Relationships matter to them, which is why heartbreak hits harder. Because they didn't just lose a person, they lost a connection they valued deeply. Asterisk. Sometimes people say things like, "You're too sensitive. You overthink too much. Just stop caring." But sensitivity isn't a switch. It's part of who they are. So instead of feeling supported, they feel judged for simply existing the way they do. And that hurts. Deep feeling people often need alone time, not because they dislike others, but because solitude helps them reset emotionally. Silence gives their mind room to breathe. This isn't isolation. It's emotional recovery. Sensitivity becomes powerful when balanced with boundaries. When deep feelers learn, it's okay to say no. They don't have to fix everything. Not every emotion must be absorbed. They deserve rest too. Their sensitivity becomes a gift, not a burden, because feeling deeply can bring compassion, intuition, creativity, emotional intelligence, meaningful connection. The world needs this. You don't feel too much because you are weak. You feel deeply because your heart is open. And yes, sometimes that hurts. But it also means you notice beauty. You appreciate kindness. You care honestly. You connect genuinely. And that is rare. Here's something important. You are allowed to rest. Set boundaries, protect your peace, choose people who value you. Step back when overwhelmed, take care of yourself. Feeling deeply does not mean breaking yourself. To hold everyone else together, your heart matters too. Some people move through the world with thick emotional armor, and some walk through it with open hearts. Both exist. Both are human. But the ones who feel deeply carry a special role. They remind the world to be gentle. To care, to listen, to love sincerely. And yes, to feel. Because without feeling, life loses its meaning. So if you're someone who feels too much, maybe you're not too much at all. Maybe you're exactly what the world needs.